Hello, this is Arcades, and welcome to another tutorial episode here on Stormworks Build and Rescue, and we're covering Lua again. Yes, Lua, some more. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at strings. Basically, we're gonna learn how to write things out. Somewhat. Oh boy. So yeah, if you like what you see, enjoy what you watch. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Helps the channel out immensely, and yeah. Let's get into this. Okay, so let me say this again. I'm going to say this probably at the end of beginning of each one. I am in no way a Lua master. I am no expert. I know just enough to get where I need to go. And I'm just trying to give people a foundation of something to work with. So if they want to expand their knowledge on Lua or beyond this, they can. So, yes. So what are we going to look at today? Well, you know how we covered all this right here and being able to display the letters on the string? Well, there's a little on the string on the screen. Well, I'm going to show you a more manipulative method of how to do that, as well as something else that I missed out on the last episode. So, yeah. So let's get into this. Let's take a look at it in the workbench, and this should be interesting. Okay, so we're inside the microcontroller. Now, last time I showed you how you could use these property boxes, except for this one, because it has no output, and you could use the composite reads and writes to put them into the composite that leads into the Lua script. Well, you can actually not even have to do that. I did say that before. I couldn't remember how to do it last time, I will admit. And I had to ask somebody if they'd give me a refresher on how to do that, and now I do. And it's a part of the subject that we're going to be covering, so might as well. So, now, how to use the property boxes without using the inputs. Well, let's get into our script. Okay, so we're here in the script. We're going to go over to here to help. And if you need us, there's a thing called properties right here. And it has these three sets of values right here. This is what we're going to need for this, the first part we're going to look at. So we will Control-C to copy that. We'll come over to here. And I'm just going to paste them in. Control-V. Get them lined up. Okay, so now what this is they are looking for a number value, a on-off value, or a text value from the properties of whatever property box you put down. Where it says label, you want to put in the name of the property box. And it is case sensitive, so whatever you have written as, that's what you need to look for. So we're going to go back to the script. Sorry, not the script, back to the microcontroller. And you see we have our property boxes right here. Well, we need to get their names. In the case of the property text, we have it named text. Toggle is named toggle. Slider is slider. Number is number. Drop down is drop down. So I named it that way so we know easy reference. But for the most part, you can name these whatever you need to. As long as whatever you go to put in matches, whatever's here matches the name that you're putting in here in place of label. So we have three number values, so we're going to grab this. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. And that's what we have. So we have the three property value. We have the three numbers because this one will be number, slider, and drop down. Then we have the Boolean one, which at the moment is toggle. And then we have the text one, name text. Now we need to give these things a variable. Well, we have these up here, so I'm going to go ahead and actually... Now, if you remember previously, I said if you wanted to, you know, make a line not functionable, but you want it there for a reason, you can just hit double. You can use your minus value twice, and it will blank out, gray out all those particular inputs. Well, we still need this one. That's the button. And the T is for toggle. Then we got the drop down. We got the number, and we got the slider. So that's 2, 3, and 4. So the slider I want to be S. So S equals. You don't have to put spaces, just make it easier to read. Then we got the drop down, so that will be D equals. And number will be N equals. Then we have a Boolean, so we had that as T for toggle. And then we have text. For that one, I am going to do text equals. Okay, so now we want to display this on the screen. Well, we've already been doing draw text, and we have all the same variables. I haven't added one for this yet. We will get to that in a moment. And we have this. So if we go ahead and spawn it, let's see what happens. Well, we spawned it in, and it's not displaying anything. Well, that's still working. So why isn't it displaying? Well, because I forgot to do something important. Okay, so we're back in here. Now, we have all the right names, but those are variables, not the actual name of the property box. So to define the name, we just need to add some quotation marks around each one so the script knows this is what we're looking for. Now, something I'm going to add to this. Well, since we're now going to add that, we're going to take the text value. So I'm just going to add this line right here, screen.drawText, and I'm going to put the variable as text. So it's going to look for here and this. So now that we have these values in, let's spawn this in and see what it shows. And there you have it. It's now showing our values. We're not using any of the logic any of the logic on the microcontroller to actually insert it in. It's just a script directly pulling it in on its own. And I mean, so we got it all written out. Okay, now, what that is, like I said, that is a string. It is defining, you're using this to define a string so it knows what to look for in the case of the property boxes, because it needs to know the name of the box that's right here. And I'm sure somebody's going to be like, that's not exactly right. Probably not exactly right, but for the most part, that's where you need to look. Just make sure you put quotations in the thing that it's looking for to help define it, and it will find it. Okay, so far, the entire time we've been doing this, we've been using draw text to display our numbers. Well, we do have another option. If we go under help, we have screen draw text box. Now, the description says draw text within the rectangle at X and Y with width and height. Text alignment can be specified using the two parameters and ranges from -1 to 1, left to right, top to bottom. If either of the alignment parameters are omitted, the text will be drawn top left by default. Text will automatically wrap at spaces when possible and will overflow the top bottom of the specified rectangle if too large. So what it's saying is when you go to put down this argument, you're defining where it starts at, how big the box is, what's going in there, and then how it aligns inside that box. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this entire thing right here. I'm copying it, and I'm just going to place it here. Well, we've already got a whole bunch of stuff drawn here, and with what I'm going to show, I want to disable this. So I already showed you can use your double minus to block out a individual line. You can actually do an entire bulk. So to do that, you can actually do the double minus, then double opening bracket, come to where you want to stop, where you want to finish at, and then put a double closing bracket. And everything between those brackets is now disabled. It'll ignore that, is what I'm saying. The script ignores that. I'm doing that so I don't have to delete all of it, and I may use it later. But for now, I'm just disabling it, and that's how you would do it with the double brackets as well as the double minus. Okay, so now that I've got that cleared out, so all we have is the draw text box. Now, here's the thing. So, we're actually just going to go, let's start one at 5, and then we will go 10 for its start, and then we go, say, a width of 20, and a height of 7. Now, we can do two things here. We can put in what we actually wanted to say, or we can put in a value. In our case, I'm just going to go ahead and use our thing here. We're going to use our already, and that's, so it should say the name Arcades in there, and what's we're in. So we now have our alignment values. And for the case being right now, I'm just going to go 0 and 0. So it's centered in the middle of the box. Okay, I just spawned it in. And as you can see, there's my name, but it is wrapped around because the box that I defined wasn't big enough, so it instead wraps around down to the below it. And it will keep doing that all the way down. And since I said centered, it's going to try to keep the middle of that right there at the middle of the thing. So in order to make sure your text box is big enough, in order for the word not to wrap, you got to make sure your text box is big enough. Sometimes you do want it to wrap. Sometimes you do want certain effects. That's up to you and the time of your build. But if you want, let's say we want this to actually display the full name, we got to make sure it's wide enough. Okay, so we're back here in the script. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have some fun with this. We're going to go 0, 0. So this will start in the top left corner. And the width, I'm just going to go 64. And the height will be 64. So I basically just said the entire screen is now my text box. We're still at 0, 0, so that means it should center my name in the middle of that screen. Okay, so I just spawned it in, and voila, you see, there's my name in the direct center. So I'm back in the script. I want to display my name in the top right. So to do that, we need, this is first the horizontal line and then vertical line. So horizontal comes first, and we want the right side, which it says it is left to right. So we're going to put a 1. And then I want it to the top, which is vertical, -1 to 1, top to bottom. So we want a -1. So this now will be a -1. And spawned it in, and there you go, top right. So aligns the name to the top right. And as you can see, and you can go all the way around. So yeah, that's pretty much how you would use the, the text box. And like I said, you use your XY for where you started at, and then your height width of the box. It wraps within the box, and you can create the values you want on the thing. Okay, so I've made a few adjustments, and now we're going to talk about a little bit how to limit some of the outputs of your displays. So right now, as you can see, I've got the throttle value being displayed by itself at the moment. And when we go to hit the throttle, you'll notice it does this big, long, thing of numbers. But we don't want that big, long thing in numbers. We just want, the smaller values. Not these massive, big values. We just like maybe 1 digit past or something like that. So how could we do that? Okay, so now we want to take that throttle number and we want to shrink it down so it only shows like so much instead of that entire massive length of numbers. So to do that, we're going to use what's called string formatting. I am not perfect on this. This is probably, I get the concept, so bear with me with this. So what we're going to do is here inside the third argument of draw text, in other words, where the text would be. Before we had, down here we got like the text thing, so it was looking for here. But however, we're going to change this. What we're going to do is we're going to say string.format. And then we're going to start another argument set with parentheses. Now, this is all still within the third argument of draw text, where the variable is supposed to be. This is something you can do. You can seat the command inside a command. But however, for the moment, don't worry about too much, but we're just filling out now the arguments. Now, here's the thing. We need to call in the formatting. Now, to let it know it's happening, you start off with percentage. Then it wants you to a descriptor of the number, which we're going to use F for floating point. Now we need to make some definitions in between there. And in our case, we're going to say we want 4 places past the decimal. We're just going to say 4 places, so we're going to put 0.4. Then we're going to go in front of the parentheses, and now we're going to put that in quotations. And then we're going to come after the F, put that in quotations. So our little format here, quotations, percentage, 0.4, and F, close parentheses, comma, and then V. V is our value. So it will take that and format V to the first section. Now we need to close this properly. That closed the argument for string format, and then I need another parentheses to close for draw text. And here we go. So it's showing 25.0000, 4 zeros. And when we go to use this, right now the throttle is for some reason, skipping stuff there. But yeah, as you can see, it rounds up the last digit. I have no idea why it's particularly stuck on 000. It just is. But as you can see, it is outputting, at a format of just 4 points. Now I want to just do 1 position. Maybe I don't need 4. I just need the 1. I would just come back and change, the decimal description to 0.1. And you see 25.0. A lot of times I find this very useful for, like, say, speeds or basic, like, volume type of deals. Now, if you want to do speed, but you don't want the decimal point, you can change it to 0.0, so it won't do any decimal points. And as you can see, It just shows that. And that way you could actually do a speed without, like, a sub number and such. And that's how you would display that. Okay, that's where I'm going to go ahead and leave this off. Just as a quick overview, we went over defining how to read a property box. And that how you have to write out the things so that the script recognizes it and looks for it. Ended up using the draw text to display that said text as a string. Then we went over the text box on how to use it and its different arguments. And went over a little bit of basic string formatting. So yeah, we went over all that stuff. Managed to get stuff to display and show you how you can manage the displays on the display. So you can see your numbers in the way that you want to show them. So, yeah. So, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. I'll do my best to fill in any holes where I might have missed that you need questions on. So, feel free to ask. Or other people who happen to see it can answer. Yeah. So, hope you like what you saw. Hope you enjoyed what you watched. If you did, you know the deal. You know the spiel. This is Arcades, signing out. Have yourself a good day. Whee!